Hello everyone, how are you? So today we will see another concept in Python which is very important, which is the functions. How to create our own functions. Of course, we have seen some built-in functions. Built-in functions. For example, we have seen print, len, and other range and other functions. Of course, these functions are built in the Python, in the language, and we cannot recreate them or change them. Okay, so they are unchangeable functions. But what we want to do today is to create our own function. So let's first see the built-in function. For example, when we print something, we have these two parentheses, so or brackets. So each function has these brackets where we write the parameter if there are any parameters. So for example, print accepts as an argument a string, for example this string. So if we print it, we will have this result here. We have seen also the for example len, which accepts also a string or a sequence in general. For example, if we have this sequence of number and we want to know how it is its length, we will have but here just one argument, so we have to put it like a tuple of numbers. So if we print this len, we will have its the number of its constituents. Good. Of course, there are many other built-in functions that we can see and use and check in the documentation of Python. So this is something which is relatively easy to do. But what we want to do today is to create our own functions, as I have said earlier. So to create a function, it is easy. But first of all, why we create a function? So as we have seen in the first sessions, we can write a program. So a program with many lines. But the problem is if we have to rewrite it again and again, so it will be a huge task to write it many times. So to reduce these tasks, we use the function. So this is why we use it. Now, how to create a function? It is also easy. So to create a function, we use another keyword which is def. So as you see, its color is changed to the pink. So def is a keyword, and we give the name that we want to this function. For example, we will call it hello, and we use this bracket where we will put the arguments if we have any arguments. If we don't have it, we will keep it empty like that. And now we'll put the 2 points as in the loops and in the conditional, and we'll return to the line with a tabulation. Good. Now we'll indicate the tasks that this function will do. So for example, just this function will just print a hello message. For example, hello everybody, for example. So this is the task that this function will do. But now we are out of the body of this function, but just with the definition we can't do nothing. So to use it we will write its name and the arguments if there are any. So hello don't accept any arguments because we didn't define it. So in the fourth line, when we will print this function, we will have its message. So we will print this version of this function, and we will have the message. So hello everybody, none, which means that this function don't return anything. We will see this later. Good. So this is what this function do. We can also here use it without this print, because it has already a print, so we can just write hello like this, but don't forget the brackets. So we'll have this message here. So we don't have to repeat the sentence and print. We can just only write the name of the function with the bracket, and this function will function and give us the same task that we do with the programs that we have already seen in the last sessions. Good. So here in this bracket we can add some arguments. For example, if we want to specify, or if we want to repeat this message many times, for example, we can define here an argument which is n, and for example we'll multiply this sentence by n times, so it will be repeated n times. So here in the calls, this is called the call of the function. So when we call this function, we will use an argument, for example 4 times. So hello for with the argument 4. That means that this function will repeat this message 4 times. Good. We can also, for example, specify here the name of someone. For example, if we will say hello to someone, we can, for example, and so here we have to delete this n. So here, for example, we can add here, so with the sign of plus, the name of someone or somebody. Good. And here when we will call this function, which is hello, we have to write the name of someone, and the name here is a string. So here in the definition is a variable, but in the call of the function, here we have to name it. So the famous Bob. Good. So if we try it, we will hear it, but here we have to delete this every, because it will be strange. So hello Bob. So this is how we use it. If we change it, for example, to Alice, it will be changed also in the results. Good. So this is how this function works. Of course, the function don't take only a string or works only with string. It works with everything. For example, numbers. For example, if I write here a number, and now we will use another keyword, which is return. So return means that this function will give us a result, but this result will not be printed. No, it is just a result. This result we can use it in other functions or in other programs. So return what it will, for example, will be returned. For example, the square of this number n. So here, if I write n, no, it's not n, for example 9. So if I click here, there is no results, because I have said it is a return, not a print. So if we want to see what this function return, so we have to print it. So now if we print it, we will have the square of this number. If we use another number, so we have another, or its square. Good. We can also, for example, use the boolean values. Remember that the boolean values are the true and false. For example, if we have a number n and we want to know if it is even or odd, we have just to define, but here we will write, we have to change the name, for example, in order to be clear, in order to be simple and obvious. For example, we will write even as a function. So if n divided by 2 equal to 0, this is of course an even number, so the result must be true. So return what? Return true. But if or else it is not, so return false. So and here we have to change the name of the function, because it is no more defined. So and here we have not to print it. It will, or no, we have to print it because it is a return. Good. So here we have the name of and the definition of the function, which is even, with the argument n is of course an integer. Here we have two conditions. The first, if n is even, so it will return true. If it is not, which means if it is odd, it will return false. So if we use here a number, we'll have that it is false, which means this number, it is not even. But if it is an even, that will be true. So and as you see here, we have two turns, the first turn and the second turn, and by definition in each function, if we have many return, just one will be will function, just one return. So if we have many, just one will function inside this function. Good. So this is how we define a function. So to define a function, we use this keyword, which is def. We choose a name to this function. We use those brackets, and inside those brackets we can add an argument. Of course, here the argument, it can be more than one. If for example, if we want to sum two numbers, so n and m, we can, for example, make this operations. For example, return, for example, n plus m, and here we have to change the name, so sum or sum1, for example, because there is a built-in function which is sum. So here we have just to change the function. So of course, someone of for example 100 and 23 4 5, for example, and we will have the sum of these two numbers, of course. Just as I have said, we can use many arguments, and we can use none, so or one. So the argument is a facultative number, so we can or argument, so we can use it or not, and this is in dependence with the instruction that we will put inside the function. So those instruction that we will put here, that indicated to us what we'll put as an argument. Good. So this is what or how we define a function. So with diff as a keyword, with the name of the function, with the brackets and the arguments inside the brackets, with the 2 points, and with the return to the line with the tabulation. And we can use either return as a keyword or print, and or we can do nothing. So for example, if we just write n plus m, we will have nothing, so none, because we have not indicate to the function what it will do with this sum. It will print it or return it, so we didn't define nothing. As we can, for example, write here another keyword which is pass. If we write pass, so there will be nothing happened with this function. So this is how we create and use a function, which is a very important concept in Python. So thank you for watching, and see you in the next session. Goodbye.